Okay, my name is Daniel M. Staats. I'm retired from American Airlines, 39 years, 8 months. Long time. I can assure you none of you young folk watching this video are going to work 39 years, 8 months at the same place. I got hired in '79. I was Allegheny Airlines. We went to US Air, then changed the name to US Airways, and finally were bought by American Airlines. I worked in Hartford, Connecticut for a year, Charlotte, North Carolina for a year. A very good job, very good money, good benefits, good work, very exciting industry to work in. Worldwide, when I retired, we had over 1,000 aircraft. Union job, so we were union and everything went by seniority. And when I retired, there was over 10,000 mechanics on the list, and my seniority number was in the low 200s. So I had 9,800 mechanics junior to me. So I could get anything I want, shift, days off, whatever I want. So overall, it was very good, very good. It was insane because, when I went to work every day, we had over 500 departures a day. So you heard aircraft all day long. They were right outside the hangar, probably 75 yards away, lined up on the taxiway in the morning. When that 9/11 happened, the airports were closed. They were all shut down. There was not an aircraft taken off in the United States. So you could hear a pin drop at the terminal, which was incredibly eerie. No aircraft moving, nothing taxiing, moving. There was every different carrier was on the ground in Pittsburgh because the FAA grounded everybody initially right away. Closest to the airport, that's where you go, and it was surreal. It was just something that, if you work in the industry, what it did to the industry was absolutely unbelievable. The greatest challenge probably when I was a kid. My childhood, it was like, my parents got divorced. I was real young. My dad was an alcoholic. We had no money. Grew up poor. Moved here to Aliquippa, Pennsylvania, from West Virginia. Lived with my grandparents. Tiny house, really poor conditions, and I had to work very, very, very hard. I worked, always worked since I was 11 years old. I worked, cut grass, newspapers. Started working when I was 16. Got a job down J&L, working in a steel mill. Put myself through college. Then went to Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics. Got my license for, to work in aviation and maintenance. And it was a long time and a lot of work, but it paid off. In general, starting out where I was, particularly financially, no money, and we've gone totally to the other end of the spectrum. We're very comfortable financially wise. My wife and I both worked. We both really never came from much, but we've accomplished a lot as far as that goes. And it's very hard to do that. It's very hard to get anything when you got nothing. Most extraordinary experience that I had. Okay, I'm going to tell you, I've only told 4 or 5 people this in my whole life. In the early 80s, I was going to Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics, and I was living in a mobile home with my brother David, who became a Pittsburgh police officer. Well, I never was particularly real spiritual, but I always knew there was something there, When I went to bed, I always said the Lord's Prayer. Always my whole life. And I was going to school and working. And no time, no money. Dead broke, no money in the bank, could hardly afford food, nothing. It got down to 5 below zero, and the water froze. We had no water in the mobile home, so you couldn't flush your toilet, couldn't take a shower, none. I got to go to work, I got to go to school. I got no money. I was in bad shape, really bad. And it never got below 5 degrees for 3 days, and it was frozen solid. So I got off work one night and I went on and had a few beers like I always did at that time. I went home, and it was about 1:30 in the morning, and I went to bed, and I just opened up in prayer. I said, I'm in trouble here. I got no money. I need help here, And my brother's bedroom was with his head by the kitchen sink. We left the faucets on just in case the water would come on. My next morning, my brother said, "You ain't gonna believe what happened." I said, "What?" He said, "I woke up about 2:30 in the morning and the water was running." So that was a big change in my life and my brother's too, to know that all this Jesus, God, spiritual. It's not a joke. It happened to me. No one's going to explain to me how water unthaws itself after it's frozen for 3 days at 5 degrees, and not one pipe was busted. And I haven't really never said that, but maybe people watching this could realize that we're all very mortal. There's a lot more to the big scheme of things than what we see here. I mean, right now, for young folk growing up, late teenagers and people in their 20s, it's such a different world than when I grew up. I mean, if nothing else, the drugs, the heroin. Drugs were always around, When I was a kid, everybody smoked weed and all that. But the heroin today and stuff, I was at the funeral home 2 days ago. People who were neighbors of ours, they just lost their son, 35 years old, heroin overdose. I knew him since he was a little boy. Because I work with people through church, because I'm a deacon in church, that people get out of halfway houses and Alcoholics Anonymous, and the people that have problems with the law, they have problems for the rest of their life. They can't find, they're in trouble. So I would say, just watch yourself. You get into watch who you go out with, who you hang out with. People get in trouble just by association with other people. And your friends will define you, who you hang out with. My own personal outlook on my own life, I would say I'm content. You know what I mean? Which is another way of saying you're happy to a point. How do you define happy? You know what I mean? I'm not unhappy. I'm content with where I'm at with my wife, grandkids, financially, everything. I don't have any big complaints at this time. I would say I'm content. That's my outlook. I'll add this, that I'm only here temporary. I don't belong here. Everybody needs to realize that. Everything you see, it's all temporary.